Hey guys, Claire here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. Prince Harry was spotted surfing.
Go! Stand up! Move up, move up, move up! Yeah! Lower the fence! Yeah! Lower the fence! Yeah! Love you, brother! Yeah!
That supportive voice in the background is none other than surfing legend Rimana van Basselaere, who Prince Harry met last year at the F1 Grand Prix. It's nice to see the Duke enjoying surfing and living the life that his dear mother didn't get to enjoy. In 2018, when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were married, in lieu of wedding gifts, the couple asked people to donate to a few hand-picked charities, one of which was Surfers Against Sewage UK. The CEO was quoted as saying, "We've reached almost 1 billion people. We've had a huge upturn in membership and donations, so that's been fantastic. It's nice to see Harry living his best life." It's also been nice to see the slew of press that this surfing video has been getting. This article says fans can't get over Prince Harry's seriously impressive surfing skills in his season of joy. And below that it says, he's a true Californian now. Another article says, new video shows Prince Harry is far from missing life in the UK as a new skill is displayed. Another headline states that Prince Harry has displayed some seriously impressive surfing moves in California, but fans have claimed the carefree footage as a sign that the royal will never return to Britain. And that's a recurring theme that I've seen in a few of the articles, how carefree and happy he looks, and that being an indication of him not returning to the UK. This one says, don't look now, but Prince Harry is actually a pretty sick surfer. All in all, Harry's looking happy, the coverage is very positive, and I'm here for it. Because of this video, I've seen my timeline peppered with photos of really fun, sporty things that Harry has done over the years, riding on bike, doing that skeleton bobsled thing in Canada. Of course, he's a Apache helicopter pilot, him riding on a motorcycle. That man is the essence of sporty. Now, of course, whenever Harry's out and getting good press, we get to see more of William, because if you want William to work, just let him know that his little brother is out and about and getting good press, and he pops up like the boogeyman, ready for his share. And that sort of reminded me of this video.
That policy of making Harry feel important sometimes upset William. He began to see Harry as a rival, especially on skis.
There was a lot of jealousy. I think at one stage William stomped off in a tantrum because he wasn't feeling well, he had flu, and there was Harry doing really well on his skis, and William kept falling over, so he just stomped off.
Harry had a natural affinity with sport.
The sporting star of the family is definitely Harry, and it always has been, and that used to really irritate William, because he would see his younger brother better on the skis than he was. And Harry was fearless. You see, Harry is fearless.
Fearless indeed. Now, in the past few videos, we talked about Meghan visiting Girls Inc. and the work that she continues to do for female empowerment, mental health, and so on. In her conversations with the girls, she talked about being one of the most bullied people in the world. And of course, the people who bully and abuse, and have been doing it for years, are upset. How dare she thrive? How dare she remove herself from that situation? How dare she call them out and stand in her truth? There's one thing I've learned the older I get is people who use and abuse hate when you don't allow them to do it in peace.
Meghan Markle isn't one of the most bullied women in the world. She is the most bullied woman in the world. So during a recent visit to Girls Inc. in Santa Barbara, Meghan Markle's having just a very kind of candid conversation and explained that she has been subject to like awful online bullying, awful online trolling, and you know, no news there. But somehow people are complaining that she's complaining about being bullied. Make it make sense. And all that does is prove her point. Meghan Markle is the most bullied woman in the world. And for you to be complaining that she's complaining about that further adds to the bullying. How about that? And the worst thing about it is that journalists have they've admitted it. So here we have Catherine Bennett, who says, tormenting Meghan Markle has become a national sport that shames us. But so they're admitting that they do it. They're admitting that they have been tormenting and bullying her. And let me show some more. Let's not forget this Daily Mail article that came out pretty soon after Harry and Meghan announced that they were in a relationship. Harry's girls is almost straight out of Compton. Gang scared home of her mother revealed. So will he be dropping by for tea? It's bullying. It's racist language. It's dog whistling, all sorts of things. And you're going to complain that this woman is upset that she's being bullied, because she is. And this was when? This was 2016. To date, we are now in 2024, and the articles continue. They haven't stopped. She has left. She's picked herself up and left with her husband and her children. She's moved out of the country, and the UK press continue to bully this woman. Then there's more. Take a second and read these headlines. It's madness. For anyone complaining that Meghan Markle is complaining or lying about being bullied, just open your eyes. This woman is the most bullied woman in the world for different reasons. I mean, you guys can have a chat in the comments about why she's being bullied. I think I know. I've spoken about Meghan on here before, so I'm team Meghan all day. I'm team Meghan and Harry all day. But for anyone complaining that she's complaining, you're part of the problem. You're probably a bully.
We recently had Baby Loss Awareness Week, and during that week I thought about all of my loved ones and friends who have unfortunately experienced that loss, and it also made me think of Meghan.
On our first morning in the new house, she reported abdominal pains and bleeding. Then she collapsed to the floor. We raced to the local hospital. When the doctor walked into the room, I didn't hear one word she said. I just watched her face, her body language. I already knew. We both did. There had been so much blood. Still, hearing the words was a blow. Meg grabbed me. I held her. We both wept. In my life, I've felt totally helpless. Only 4 times. In the back of the car while Mummy and Willie and I were being chased by Paps. In the Apache above Afghanistan, unable to get clearance to do my duty. At Notcott when my pregnant wife was planning to take her life. And now. We left the hospital with our unborn child, a tiny package. We went to a place, a secret place only we knew. Under a spreading banyan tree, while Meg wept, I dug a hole with my hands and set the tiny package softly in the ground.
That passage in the book always makes me so sad. Quite honestly, I'm not too into celebrity culture, but just seeing the things that Harry and Meghan, as a biracial woman, I connect with her. This is why I continue to talk about Harry and Meghan, about the hypocrisy, the racism, the xenophobia, the misogyny, the misogynoir. They've been through so much, Meghan especially. And if there are 2 people within public world that I root for, it's gonna be Harry and Meghan. This week, there are so many conversations about the Duke and Duchess buying a property in Portugal. While looking into that, it seems as the source of that story is from Richard Eden in the Daily Mail. A few videos back, we spoke about Eden being called out for fabricating an entire story. Kate Beckinsale publicly called him out, publicly called out the Daily Mail, saying that the story that they ran was inaccurate. They tried to hound her mother, who has health issues, who recently lost her husband, so in a very vulnerable state. So, for all the conversations about Portugal, I don't know if it's true. Some people believe it, some people don't. For me, I take it with a grain of salt. In the article, I believe he said that the Sussexes said no comment. So, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. If they did, that's wonderful. If they didn't, well, that's just more fake news. This article from The Telegraph made me chuckle because it says, Prince Harry and Meghan aren't the only A-listers flocking to the Malibu of Europe. I mean, one day you're calling them irrelevant, and the next they're A-listers? Make up your minds, please. The whiplash is too much. And in pop culture news, as it relates to Harry and Meghan, Tia Mowry, I'm sure most of you know, Tia and Tamara, sister. I love that show, by the way. Tia says that she's looking to find her own Prince Harry following her divorce.
I I mean, listen, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, didn't they go on a blind date? Who knows? I might find my Prince Harry.
I do enjoy seeing how Prince Harry and Meghan's relationship represents different things for different people. There's so many times on social media I will see a lot of people like millennials and younger generations say, you know, if you don't love me the way Prince Harry loves Meghan, then I don't want it. But for some, their relationship symbolizes a change that makes some people very uncomfortable, some people very angry because they think that it is changing the bloodlines and all of those antiquated nonsense. So it's interesting. There's no doubt that Harry loves Meghan and Meghan loves Harry, and they're just really trying to break toxic patterns within both of their families, both of their maternal sides of the family, and create a life and home for their children that is different to theirs. To use their fame and the amount of attention that they get to engage in acts that in some small way changes and improves the lives of others. It's quite commendable that even after they've been through so much, they're still continuing to genuinely try and help others through philanthropy. They could have just easily taken their money and just relax and be out of the limelight.
I just say Prince Harry is the husband to Meghan that Prince Charles never was to Diana, and that's saying something. That is saying something right there. This is a man who's understood that history can repeat itself, and it's like, you know what? Like Nigerians would say, prevention is better than cure.
On September 15th, 1984, I was christened Henry Charles Albert David of Wales. But from day one, everyone called me Harry.
His namesake.
Another Prince Harry, who got himself exiled, then came back and annihilated everything and everyone in sight. My distant kin, my kindred spirit, some would claim. If nothing else, my namesake.
In my opinion, Meghan's husband's quest is nobler than trying to conquer a family dynasty. He's slain his dragons in order to have a happy and healthy life, protect and continue his mother's legacy, use his privilege in order to help others, and also to ensure that tabloids are held accountable for their toxic behavior. He has more than earned our respect, and if you're also very grateful for the ground that he's gained, be sure to leave your comment, because he and his wife will continue to show up and do good.
This is because Prince William has spoken out about his passion to help the homeless in a new documentary. Now, the Prince has been questioned about his privilege when it comes to this cause. However, the heir to the throne has said that he wants to use his high profile for good. But when it comes to royal palaces around the UK, the big issue has carried about a bit of research that shows that a selection of 5 royal palaces could home over 3,700 people, which sounds a lot, but that figure is considerably small and would make a very tiny dent in the overall 300,000 people who are currently experiencing homelessness in England alone.
I just think what Prince William's doing and what the royal family are doing is so performative, okay? I totally understand that he cares a bit because, you know, he's the future king. I call it the Dianification of what's happening with the royal family. And this isn't me taking, you know, shots at our dearly departed, you know, Princess of Hearts. But I just think what's happened over the last couple of decades is the royal family's now on this kind of mission where they're like, we're Mother Teresa type figures. I'd like them to say something and then do something.
Like, what would you like them to do?
Oh, I'd love this to happen. Absolutely, but it's not going to happen. What I would want the royal family to do, if they essentially put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
The Duchy of Cornwall, or was it Lancaster? But Prince William owns 53,000 hectares of land.
There's plenty of land there to build. Is that what you're saying?
So forget the palaces. You're totally right. Let's get the tourists coming in. But there's 53,000
Well, I think he has promised to build a bit on
20
that
houses?
land.
20 houses?
Yeah, not.
Well, of course I had to cover this one. I'm not always first to the story because I like to have some time to think about things and get my commentary together. So if you remember in the early days, the press were obsessed that Meghan had kidnapped Harry, and then secondly, Harry was miserable in California. Yeah,
this is how miserable he is. And I've commented before when he was doing the downhill bobsled racing that this dude is like a modern day James Bond. And this image and his activity, and I actually can't believe how good at it he was, to be honest. He looked great. Just proves how athletic and like a modern day James Bond this guy is. Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace, the minions must be doing their nuts when videos and images like this coming through. It must absolutely torpedo any chance they have of a positive PR campaign around Kate, William, Charles and Camilla. You just cannot compete with this stuff when this guy and Meghan draws the media attention on a global scale. Looks like they're having a great life to me. I'm slightly jealous of the weather. I'm slightly jealous of the opportunity that he got to learn to surf, but good on them both.
When Meghan was without her ring, the justification by the British media for William's rage and concern and all this consternation that he had around this ring, they justified it by saying some of the diamonds that created the ring came from Princess Diana, that they belonged to her. And that's true. And she was his mother, so that's true. But what did that have to do with William, guys? What did that have to do with William? And if he was really that curious, let's say for shits and giggles, he was, really concerned because it was his mother's ring and he wanted to know where the diamonds were. Why didn't he just call his brother up and ask? Why didn't he email him or send him a text? And those headlines were not changed. So based on what I know of the British media at this point, based on observation, since they weren't changed, that means Kensington Palace didn't push back and say, no, this is incorrect, or you got this wrong, or so, yeah. He fed them that story. He gave them that story. Why do you think he would do that? William did it because it's another way to paint Meghan in a bad light, to push this narrative that she doesn't have her together, she's not responsible. Look, she's lost the Princess of Hearts. She's lost her ring. That was the narrative that was being pushed subliminally. That was what was being implied here. Okay, and that's why William was so concerned. Remember I said earlier, his rallying cry, these articles almost had that kind of feel to them. So that's what was going on with that.
The royal snub. King Charles is making a visit to Australia, and he is hosting a reception, and he invited all the politicians of Australia, and nobody's coming. And the interesting thing about this whole thing, had he been a loyal husband to Princess Diana, can you imagine all the goodwill she would have been doing all these years? Can you imagine, had she risen to being Queen Diana, with all the years of goodwill that she would have done, she would have been just as popular, just as the other queen, as Queen Elizabeth. There would have been people coming in droves to see her. Everybody would have came because of all the goodwill that Queen Diana would have done. But that's not what he chose. He chose her, and he chose to live the life that he's lived. It makes no sense. Right? The monarchy makes no sense visiting Australia. Do you know what would have made sense? Queen Diana made sense. And all the goodwill that she would have done, all her humanitarian efforts, all that she would have done would have been so awesome at this season of her life. She would have been the one people came to see, not you two. Ain't nobody came to see you, Otis.
This was just posted on Instagram on Raymana World. It's all over Twitter right now. And it's Prince Harry, obviously dying to move back to the UK. Enjoy it.
It's been fun to see Harry and Meghan embracing their chapter of joy. And speaking of embracing chapters of joy, I am joyful and thankful for the blessing of being alive for one more year. As I'm recording this, my birthday is going to be in like 2 days. And I don't know, normally I'm not the type of person that gets really excited about birthdays, which my loved ones seem to think is a little odd. And maybe it is to a certain degree. But the older I get and the more I experience life, the more I realize that the cliche is true. Tomorrow is not promised. Every day is a blessing. Every year is a blessing. And I'm just trying to focus on that, embrace that, be thankful for that, and be thankful for that blessing. And with that being said, I think that's going to be a wrap for today's video. Special shout out to Ann Hall, Karen Timberlake, Hillary Daniel, E.B. Lynn 35, Jason Melville, Coffee Bar 3391, and Patricia Crenshaw. And for everyone watching or listening, thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell.